am really late to doing this challenge because like when it was making the rounds on BookTube like 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, I don't need to do that. That's not me. I'm not that person. I've got things under control, and I don't. Hello, my lovely friends. It's Margaret. Welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome. Glad to have ya. I am here because there are some changes coming, and I need to unhaul some books. Not big changes. I just kind of want to maybe change the color of the paint on my walls. Painting my walls means undoing all of my bookshelves, and then I was like, you know, the bookshelves need to be replaced anyways. If I unhaul the books, that means there will be less books. The thing to do would be to do the book unhaul challenge. Now here is the deal. I know a lot of people really put themselves through torture and torment to do this challenge. If I do not have a book that will fit the prompt that we're supposed to be unhauling, I'm not going to unhaul anything. I'm not going to unhaul anything that I want to keep. This is primarily here just to give me an idea or make me think about what would I like to get rid of. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're here. Let's go. We're going to flip the view around. So let's go flip the view around and show you my shelves and go unhaul some books. So wish me luck. Hello, welcome to the second angle. Been a while since I've been here where I'm facing usually we're facing this window instead of this window. Been a while. We're starting now, and the goal is to rate unhaul. Nope. Hold on. A book you rated low. Okay. Here's where we run into our first problem, because typically when I rate my books, if I don't like it, I unhaul it. Like if I rate it low and don't like it, I right away. Okay, hold on. I've got it. You guys can't see this book because it's an S&P title, so we're just gonna. I'll be right back. Okay, so I just unhauled 2 books actually that I rated 3 stars. I enjoyed them, but they didn't really wow me, and I see no reason to keep them at this point. I can't talk about them, but I will tell you that one of them is a YA book. There are going to be people that enjoy it, that love it. It's just not, I'm not going to reread it, so I'm going to pass it on to someone else who would like to reread it. And then the other one is an adult romance. Just didn't work for me. I think I gave that one. I actually think I might have given that one, gave that one 2 stars. So I can't talk about it, or tell you what title is, but we got 2 books that are going. A book you changed your mind about. Huh. Why am I looking at this shelf? This is all my favorites. I could... Is this going to be it? Is this going to be the time? Is this going to be the time that I do this? But there's the one... The next question that might... Alright, we've got 2. We've got the 10,000 Drawers of January by Alex E. Harrow. This one was given a lot of criticism for being, basically for our main character being set in the time that she is set in. The author came under fire for writing a book about a black woman or black girl who lives in, I believe it is the antebellum South, or sometime around that. I understand what the author was doing in the context of the story, but I do agree that if you were going to write this story, if you wanted to make this point about fantasy worlds, we maybe needed to set her in something a little bit more modern. We're definitely stepping outside of our lane. And then I also have her other book, The Once and Future Witches, and I read that one and I wasn't, I just had so many issues with it. I will link the wrap-up or whatever it is, the Disappointing Reads video, wherever I talked about that and go into that, I will link it down in the description box. It's just one of those things that I read it, I was like, okay, you're staying in your lane this time, but I still don't like how you are handling magic and including people of color in your world. I had more issues with what she did in that book than I did in this book. I have so many issues. There's the casual use of a word that I don't think we should, it's not is it a slur? It is a racially charged word, regardless of where you are. And there are places where it's in society names and things like that. So I understand when you are writing about that period, you can't entirely get around using that word, but there's still, to have it being used so casually by our point of view characters, didn't like it. And so I have decided no more Alex E. Harrow for me. The other author, or the other book that I'm going to be getting rid of is Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. I loved this book when it came out. I give it 5 stars. I am a sucker for zombie stories. However, some of my Indigenous friends have pointed out, or did point out, that the way she is co-opting Indigenous trauma, and the way she handles her Indigenous characters is not great. Here's my typical rule: is if it is something that I have forgiven a white author for doing because they were dumb or because they didn't do their research, I will typically forgive an author of color for that same thing, especially if it's their first book, their debut, if it feels like it's like, I wait to see what their reaction is before I make a judgment about whether or not I will continue on reading their books. Unfortunately, in my opinion, Justina Ireland just kind of dug her heels in regards to the criticism that she had been receiving from Indigenous Native American peoples, and the way that they had talked about her co-opting their trauma, the way they talked about her representation, and she just basically tweeted out, well, if you didn't like that in the first book, you're gonna like it less in the second book. And I was just like, okay, I'm done. I haven't talked about this in a very long time. I took my review, and I privated my review on this. I'm never gonna read it again, unfortunately, and I'm not gonna be finishing the series. After that, a series you won't be completing. Okay, that one, actually, okay, you know what? It's time, man, it's time. Hold on, I need a stool. So, technically, I did finish this series. Well, I finished this book, and then this book got released. And I have heard things about stuff that the male main character does in further books that made me go, I don't need to continue on with this series because this is going to ruin my opinion of him. Just no. I can't talk about it without spoiling it. The other thing is that this author is worse than usual when it comes to the Zionism. I don't need to read any more of her works, in my opinion. So you would have to give me a very good reason, like a very, very good reason, besides curiosity or whatever, for me to continue on with this series. I also know that these covers go for a pretty penny. After that, a book you DNF'd/did not finish. Okay, this is sad, because this was my first ever book that I got from a book box, but it's Beyond a Darkened Shore by Jessica Lee. I tried reading this, and it just wasn't working for me at the time, and I DNF'd it, and so, I don't know, I guess I'll just, like, these are, like, I don't know, I think I'll just get rid of it. I'm not going to read it. Every time I've tried to pick it up, I've just been like, well, I wasn't impressed with it the first time. Next prompt is a book I know exactly, a book you have multiple copies of. I know exactly which one this is going to be. Okay, this would concern some people, but as you can see, or you can't see now, can you? Yeah, you can see. As you can see, I have a hardcover set of these books, so I'm going to pass on the Brown Sisters trilogy in paperback. I'm going to pass that on to someone else who wants all of these books, because I don't need 2 copies of this series. I love it, but I don't need 2 copies. Absolutely adore these. If you have not read the Brown Sisters books, then you're at all interested in it, please pick them up, read them. They have... they're just so good. They're just so good. And I have a great time, and they are, I think, potentially the best thing that Talia has ever written. Potentially. I don't know. I haven't read everything that she's written, but I think potentially. A book that you'll never actually get to. I should have saved a quart of... Can I just, like, retroactively say a quart of Frost and Starlight or whatever the heck it is? This is difficult, because, like, everything up there is up there for a reason. I may regret this one, but I'm going to go with Stolen Songbird by Danielle L. Jensen. This is another one that I picked up and I started, but it didn't impress me too much. Now, I may regret this because I have one of her books that is a an adult romantasy. Yeah, I would not want a middle grade romantasy. That'd be a little weird. This one, I have no idea what it's about. Oh, there's a witch's curse involved. Oh, this is going to be a tentative. Although, here's the thing. I know that if I end up reading this and I end up liking it, I will probably, it's part of a series, and I'll want my series to match. And I don't think these covers probably are not available anymore, so I'm just going to put this over here. If it has not sold and I end up deciding to read it and liking it, I'll keep it. But, you know. A book you bought because of the hype. Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. I don't need this book. It was interesting and it was good, but I also read it at the same time that I read How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia. Oh my god, what is his last name? Sequoia Nagamatsu. I felt that he did the concept a little bit better. Like, I got this and I don't, like, it's got this pretty sprayed edges. That's why I picked it up. I don't feel the need to keep it, though. I'm probably going to pass this on to someone who wants it. It's brand new. I read the audiobook, so brand spanking new. But there's that. Bought that because of the hype and because it had pretty sprayed edges. A book you bought because of the cover. We may need to skip this one. Give me a second. never rereading this book. Let's go. Out. All right, we're gonna get rid of Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw, which means I think, you know what? I think that means it's time to finally get rid of The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw as well. This was good. I enjoyed it. I'm just never going to read it again. Like, I liked the concept of it and what it covered and all of that good stuff. Like, I had a good time reading it, but it's not anything that I'm going to, like, be hanging on to. It is the Lichguy Crate exclusive edition, I believe, or was. Let's see. Nope. But it does have, look at that. Like, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous book. Get rid of this. But I'm never going to reread it again. I'm not going to be pulling it out for recommendation videos. And then I'm getting rid of The Wicked Deep as well, which again is like one of the, it's a first edition that has all of the pretty stuff. This one is reliant on misinformation about the Salem witch trials. So I feel like I'm probably not going to get to it. And if I do, I'm not, like, with how I feel about this book, like, I might enjoy it, but I don't think I'm going to want to keep it. So we'll put that in the stack. We're almost to the end. What else do we got? A book you don't know anything about. That's, well, we're gonna get rid of The Magic Thief by Sarah Prineas. I just don't, this is like the only one that I don't really know anything about and I don't really care about keeping, you know? Like, is there anything? Most of these books, I know what they're about, but this one, we'll say this, I have no idea. It's where a boy picks the wrong pocket and finds himself on the run for his and his city. This is not one I'm going to keep in the first place. Even if I were to pick it up for something and read it, I'm not going to keep it. Number one, it's an art. I'll probably put this in a little free library somewhere and let someone else have it. All right, what's the final one? A book you didn't buy. We are, like, rumming the depths of what I own. I'm specifically not going into the other room where I have like a big old stack of books that I am unhauling. All of these will be available on my Pango, by the way, if you're interested. If you want them, I'm going to be putting well, not all of them. Like, obviously the ARC's not going to go on there. I think everything else would go. Everything else would work. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. Okay. A book I didn't buy. I think we are out of books I didn't buy. Ooh, wait, what's over here? Ooh, okay, here we go. All right, my friends, that's it. We are going to be getting rid of Seven Wonders, The Colossus Risers by Peter Larangis. I don't know. It's been on my TBR since before BookTube. This one, that one, The Stolen Songbird. They've been on my TBR since before BookTube. I haven't gotten to them. I'm not going to get to them. And I didn't buy this one. This one was given to me by a friend who used to work at Barnes & Noble. And she was getting rid of some of her books and wanted to know if I wanted to watch it. I, again, feel like this is something I would check out from the library to have a good time with it. And then promptly return to my library and never think of again. So I'm not going to... One boy, Jake McKinley, is an ordinary kid with an extraordinary problem. In a few months, he's going to die. Okay. He needs to find 7 magic loculi that, when combined, will have the power to cure him. Relics of a lost civilization, hidden in the 7 wonders of the ancient... Well, that sounds... We're going to unhaul it, though. I'm going to just get it from the library and listen to it or whatever, because that sounds interesting, but I don't think it's going to... Again, I'd be replacing it anyways with a nicer version if I ended up liking it. All right, I'm going to head back over to the other angle, and we'll wrap things up. As we were, like, switching things back around, I saw a few more books that I wanted to unhaul, so I'm gonna why did I put them? I just saw some more that I want to unhaul. These are 5 more books that are coming off that I didn't think about when I was doing prompts, but we're gonna get rid of them. We have The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I really loved this. I gave it 4 stars. I'm never gonna reread it though. Like, it's just not that kind of book for me, if that makes sense. This is about a woman who has a really bad few weeks. Massive trigger warnings for suicide because she goes to commit suicide and ends up in this kind of limbo place called the Midnight Library, where she is able to, like, in the Midnight Library, she's able to see what some of her different choices could have led to. Like, she's able to go back to things that she regretted making a choice and explore what the other choice would have been. This is one that we read for the Avengers Reading Challenge, and I know I'm not going to reread it, even though I think it's very good, and I think someone else could read this and enjoy it. The other one we've got is Pretty Dead Queens by Alexa Dunn. I love Alexa's sci-fi stuff. I didn't love this as much. A lot of that comes down to personal taste. I think it is a very interesting mystery book. It is about a young woman who moves in with her grandmother after her mother's death, and her grandmother is a very famous murder mystery writer, and she kind of cut her teeth writing about a murder that happened in her high school. And so now we're back and we're with the granddaughter, and that something similar to that murder has happened in the granddaughter's high school. There's a whole thing going on there. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It's not something I'm going to ever be like, I've reread Brightly Burning. I know I'm going to reread The Stars We Steal at some point probably, but like I'm never going to be rereading this one. It just wasn't a book for me. We also have Sarah Dessen's Just Listen. This has been sitting on my shelf for years and years and years. I read it. I enjoyed it the first time I read it. I don't know how well it handles some of the stuff that happens in it. And I know I'm never going to pick it up again. Same thing for Capture the Crown and Tear Down the Throne by Jennifer Estep. These were good. I had a great time reading them. I gave them 3 stars, but I'm not going to be like, I'm going to probably read the final book in the series, but I'm not going to ever read them again, and I don't think they're anything that's going to make it to the to any of my recommendations lists. This is what I would call a romantasy series, probably. There's like, I think romantasy is still getting defined. If you like that kind of thing, if you like the idea of 2 mortal enemies having to work together and slowly falling in love, go for it. It's a little bit over the top for my tastes in places, so like I definitely want to read more of this author's work, but I don't think I will ever reread her work, if that makes sense. These were sent to me for review, by the way. I have my review and the vlog where I read them, and you can get more of my thoughts on that. I'll have that linked in the description box. But yeah, so those are getting added to this pile. Oh my god. Okay. This. Can I get it? I got it. I got the whole. Please be proud of me for getting that whole stack up there. It's not happening again. This is the giant stack of books that I will be unhauling, and again, most of these will be going on to my Pango. The ARCs are going to be going into my little free library, or I'll, disperse them through Twitter. I'm not going to put anything on Pango that is not fit for selling. This is it. This is what we're doing, and it's a lot of, it's not all of my books, but it's a lot of books, isn't it? Yes, it is. What do I do with these now? Okay, pray for me. I'm going to try and move these to the, oh no, hold on. They got to go this way because otherwise you can see the St. Martin's Press titles. So, okay. This is fine. All right, so giant stack of books that I'm going to be getting rid of. I don't know how I'm going to hold all of that up for a thumbnail. We might have to think of something else creative. I'm looking at that stack, and that's a lot of books, and they are very heavy, guys. They're very heavy. So that's it. I will have the Jennifer Estep vlog or review or whatever the heck I did for it linked up here if you want to see. Thank you so much for watching. There will be more videos linked below in the description box. If you find that you like the vibe here, go ahead and subscribe. That is it for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!